The top stories tonight in Y News. The Office of the Ombudsman to probe Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and other health officials over alleged irregularities in the Health Department's COVID-19 response.
Steroid medication dexamethasone not yet approved as COVID-19 treatment, clarifies the Health Department, saying this is not a magic pill against coronavirus.
Some 10,000 school service operators and drivers in Metro Manila fear losing their livelihood to the COVID-19 crisis. A 5-day lockdown tighter than ECQ now implemented in a portion of Barangay Katmon in Malabon City starting today.
Experts in Thailand warn of rainy season outbreaks in the middle of the COVID-19.
No evidence shows salmon is a host of the new coronavirus, Chinese Center for Disease and Control and Prevention says. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, June 17, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next 45 minutes as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news, the Office of the Ombudsman is set to investigate Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and other DOH officials. The Health Department, for its part, welcomes the probe. Our health correspondent, Aiko Miguel, has the details to explain why.
Two investigating teams are tasked by Ombudsman Samuel Martires to investigate the alleged irregularities and anomalies in the Department of Health surrounding its COVID-19 response. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and other DOH officials are being accused of purchasing overpriced test kits, delayed procurement of personal protective equipment, and other medical gears for healthcare workers. The alleged lapses and irregularities that led to the demise of 32 healthcare workers and a rising number of deaths and infection among medical frontliners, inaction and delayed distribution of the processing of benefits, compensation to the fallen and infected healthcare workers, and the confusing and delayed reporting of COVID-19 related deaths and confirmed cases. This afternoon, the DOH released its statement on the Ombudsman investigation.
Ang kagawaran ng kalusugan ay bukas sa anumang investigasyon na isasagawa ng mga otoridad ukol sa kung paano hinahandle ang COVID-19 pandemic situation. Sinisiguro po ng DOH na ito ay makikipagtulungan sa tanggapan ng tanod bayan ng Pilipinas.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang respects the Office of the Ombudsman's decision to investigate the Department of Health over alleged anomalies in responding to the coronavirus disease crisis. Ombudsman Samuel Martires orders the motu proprio investigation on Health Secretary Francisco Duque III. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the palace will let the process run its course since the Ombudsman is an independent constitutional body. Malacanang joins the health chief and the entire DOH to cooperate in the investigation and respect the orders of Ombudsman Martires. Meanwhile, a condotel in Makati City stands firm. It observed health protocols in ensuring the residents' safety when the building housed returning OFWs for quarantine last month. This was in relation to the viral video of actress Pinky Amador when she was caught berating at condotel employees. In a statement published on June 7, Amador says the management failed to notify them that the building has been designated as a quarantine facility, which was a cause of alarm. The actress adds the administration did not issue any safety-related protocols, thus risking everyone's safety in the building. But for the condominium management, it is a case of miscommunication. Palace of Makati Condominium Corporation Legal Counsel Attorney Kimberly Baltazar says they were only able to notify the residents nearly a week after the 59 returning OFWs were already pulled out from the building because they waited for the official instruction and documents from the hotel management and the Department of Health.
Sa Condo Corp, we are waiting for instructions doon sa hotel kasi sila ang transaction ng DOH. Sila ang quarantine facility. So we cannot as yet make any statement during that time na agad-agad kasi we don't want to spread then fear and panic na hindi naman pala yun yung official statement.
She adds they have no choice but to follow and to do its part to protect its residents.
Sa basement sila dumiretso. Service elevator sila dumaan. Not sa elevator ng mga residents. Papunta dun sa mga hotel rooms na naka-cordoned off. So nung umalis sila 2.5 days after, they also used the service elevator papunta sa basement 1. Tapos doon sila sinundo nung bus ng DOH. So walang exposure yung mga residents ng condominium corporation.
Through photos exclusively shared to UNTV News, the Palace of Makati Condo Corporation showed how they observed the health protocols upon the arrival of the OFWs. The photos showed that the Condotel personnel were wearing personal protective equipment or PPE. The service elevator used by the OFWs were covered with plastic, while the elevators in floors 6th, 9th, and 20th were closed. When asked why did the OFWs were pulled out after only 2.5 days, and not the mandated 14-day quarantine, the condo management declined to comment and deferred the question to the hotel management. The UNTV News tried to reach the Makati Palace Hotel's management for an interview, but says they have no authorized officer to speak at the moment. Amador is also not available for now for an interview, but the actress earlier apologized for the incident and maintains that she did it to fight for their rights and safety amid the pandemic.
San Pedro City in Laguna continues to record COVID-19 survivors. Mac Cordova details why.
San Pedro City authorities announced yesterday that 9 more patients have recovered from the deadly respiratory disease. 5 of them are persons deprived of liberty from the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. Up to 40 PDL patients in the BJMP prison facility have recovered from the deadly virus, while 31 others continue to undergo treatment. Meanwhile, 16 inmates from San Pedro Police Station tested positive for COVID-19. The City Health Office has begun its contact tracing efforts.
Ang aming DJMP, yun ang active lang. Bumaba na nga, PNP detainee 16. So yun lang naman ang aming sa ngayon so far. Binabantayan, naka-quarantine.
Mac Cordova, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The PNP leadership has ordered the formation of a team of psychologists within the police force. Our police correspondent, Lea Ilagan, explains why.
Police personnel are not exempt for stress, anxiety, and even from the COVID-19 virus. CAPs also experience the effects of not seeing their families personally for several months now as they perform their duties at the checkpoints and other places of convergence. Because of this, the PNP leadership orders the PNP Health Service to form a team of psychologists to check and monitor the physical and mental health of PNP personnel. The Directorate for Personnel and Records Management has started conducting an inventory of PNP personnel trained in general and clinical psychology who will compose the care group. Meanwhile, the 2020 annual physical examination for police personnel will resume next month. PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Bannock says the check-up for the PNP personnel will start on July 1st. The priority are CAPs age 40 and above, as well as police frontliners.
Well, alam natin na kapag 40 years old and above, mas marami na itong dinaramdam physically at madali na silang maka-experience ng stress at fatigue at kasama na rin of course ang mental health nila.
The PNP personnel with January as their birth month will undergo physical and neuropsychiatric exam on July 1 to 3, 2020. Those born in February will do the same on July 6 to 8, while those with birth dates in March will undergo check-up on July 9 to 13. They will come in complete uniform. And as of today, more than 400 policemen have been infected by the deadly virus. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health warns that despite breakthroughs in science, there is still no drug or vaccine that is proven to cure COVID-19 patients. Details why from Aiko Miguel.
The country's Department of Health clarifies that dexamethasone is not yet approved as COVID-19 treatment. Dexamethasone is a steroid treatment claimed to be a cure for coronavirus infection. This move from the DOH comes after the promising clinical trials in the United Kingdom and a research of the University of Oxford, which showed that dexamethasone could help save critically ill COVID-19 patients. The DOH also warns against the use of dexamethasone.
Because people might think that this is the magic pill para sa COVID. It is not. Dapat maipakalat natin sa mga tao na hindi tayo bibili sa drugstores para inumin natin ito para ma-prevent na magkaka-COVID tayo. Hindi.
Undersecretary Vergere and the Food and Drug Administration also warned those who are using Fabunan antiviral injection or FAI. They may be arrested for using the drug in immunizing people. The DOH explains the FDA still has not approved the Fabunan antiviral injection. The Health Department reminds the public it is dangerous to use a drug or vaccine which is not yet proven to be effective and has not been studied by experts. Clinical trials are conducted around the world and there is still no proven cure for COVID-19 today.
This is a breakthrough in science, if ever, kasi makakatulong talaga ng husto. Pero kailangan antayin pa rin natin makumpleto ang proseso ng pag-aaral.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, Singapore scientists who are testing a COVID-19 vaccine from a U.S. firm plan to start human trials in August after promising initial responses in mice. The vaccine being evaluated by Singapore's Duke NUS Medical School works on the relatively untested messenger RNA or mRNA technology, which instructs human cells to make specific coronavirus proteins that produce an immune response. The mRNA approach has not yet been approved for any medicine, so its backers, which also includes US biotech firm Moderna, are treading uncharted territory. More than 100 vaccines are being developed globally, including several already in human trials to try and control a disease that has turned most countries and economies upside down. Tiny city-state Singapore has one of the highest infection tallies in Asia, with more than 40,000 cases, largely due to mass outbreaks in dormitories for its migrant workers. Let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of more than 8.1 million confirmed cases. There's no addition to the 188 countries, regions, and sovereignty hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The fast-spreading disease has claimed more than 443,000 lives, while close to 4 million patients across the globe have recovered from the new coronavirus infection. The United States of America now has more than 2.13 million confirmed cases, including close to 117,000 deaths. Brazil, which trails only the USA, has reached the 900,000 mark and now has the second highest death toll, with more than 45,000 patients lost to COVID-19. On the other hand, India remains to be the Asian country with the most number of coronavirus cases, now at more than 354,000. In fact, New Delhi will transform 500 railway coaches into facilities equipped to care for coronavirus patients in order to cope with the surge in cases in the Indian capital that has led to a shortage in hospital beds. Peru, the 8th worst hit nation with more than 237,000 cases, is experiencing a health crisis as the COVID-19 pandemic triggers shortages of oxygen supplies. Peru now has the unwanted status as the second hardest hit country in South America region, behind Brazil, where the struggle with COVID-19 has been so well documented. Meanwhile, the country's Department of Health says that 457 new cases were reported today, including 342 fresh cases and 115 late ones. This raises the total confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in the Philippines to 27,238. That is as of 4 p.m. today. We have lost 5 more patients, but through our fervent prayers, medical interventions, and sacrifices of our medical frontliners, 268 more people have won their battle against the invisible enemy. That brings the total number of recoveries nationwide to 6,820. Thanks be to God. School service operators and drivers are now forced to find alternative sources of income with the suspension of face-to-face classes. Vincent Arboleda will join us tonight to tell us why live. Yes, Vincent, good evening.
Good evening, William. With the directive from the President that there will be no face-to-face classes until a vaccine for COVID-19 is made available, the Department of Education is set to implement the blended learning program. Because there are no students to bring to school campuses, school service operators and drivers are faced with possible job loss. According to Celso de la Paz, President of the National Alliance of School Service Association of the Philippines, around 10,000 school service operators will be affected in the National Capital Region.
Sa isang unit, hindi lang driver ang nawawala eh, 3. Isang driver, isang operator, isang konduktor. Yan ang mga hindi nakakapaghanap buhay ngayon.
William?
Yes, Vincent, are these school service operators and drivers not beneficiaries of the national government social amelioration program?
That's right, William. That is why De La Paz is urging authorities to speed up the process of the distribution of the cash aid to cushion the impact of losing their livelihood.
Sana yung ayuda na ipinangako sa aming mga driver, hindi lang sa mga school service, sa lahat na ng mga sa driver, sana maibigay na, maiabot na. Kasi malaking tulong din, kung sakaling makuha na nila, at least kahit paano, makakaluwag-luwag.
As an alternative, the Land Transportation Franchising Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, are urging school bus operators to convert their school service vehicles into shuttle services for private companies. De La Paz says the proposal was offered to them by the LTFRB around May. According to De La Paz, it is a viable option since the need for school services this year seems to be dim as there is still no vaccine for the dreaded COVID-19. William De La Paz also mentioned that other drivers have also shifted to cooking meals as a temporary source of income to make ends meet during the COVID-19 pandemic. William?
Yes, Vincent, thank you for that report, and I hope that the school services actually do get to adapt to this so-called new normal. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation will initially allow 5,000 public utility jeepneys to start operating in Metro Manila from the end of June, while modern jeepneys, UV Express, and provincial buses are all set to resume operation in the second phase of the public transportation opening on June 22nd. These steps are part of the gradual and calibrated opening of public transport in accordance with the safety measures to fight the further spread of COVID-19. More details why from Asher Kadapan Jr.
Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB Chairman Martin Delgar III says they will release a notice to the public about the details of the 104 rationalized routes for PUJ in the National Capital Region.
We're looking at on or before the end of the month because yung routes po na-identify na, yung numero po na-identify na. The basic principle here really is we need to have connectivity between the rail, the bus, and the jeepneys po.
But Transport Group, pinagkaisang samahan ng mga tsuper at operator nationwide or Piston, believes the traditional jeepneys should have been allowed since the GCQ when some workers had been permitted to go to work.
So ang epekto nito ay lalong nalulubog yung kabuhayan ng ating mga jeepney drivers at maliliit na operators, lalo pa 3 buwan na silang walang kabuhayan. At the same time, nagdurusa din yung ating mga kababayang mananakay, lalo na mga manggagawa, dahil pinagkakaitan sila ng pamahalaan ng mga masasakyan public transport.
With the crisis, some PUJ drivers ask for alms in Caloocan streets to get by.
Hanggang ngayon, wala pa rin akong nakukuhang ayuda galing ng gobyerno. Kaya ginagawa ko to para makatustusan yung pangangailangan ng pagkain ng pamilya ko.
But today, they were halted by the Caloocan police.
Lumapit ang pulis nang pinagtaboy na kami. Nakailan pa kayo rito sa kali. Maghahanap buhay na kayo, malalaki kayo, kumpleto kayo ng katawan. Hindi naman kayo paralaysado. Maghanap kayo ng ibang trabaho ninyo.
Caloocan City Police Station Chief Police Colonel Dario Menor explains that they restrained the drivers from asking for alms in the middle of the streets to prevent any accidents on both the drivers and motorists.
Hindi namin pinapayagan kasi nakakaabala pa rin sa takbo ng traffic. Kaya kinakausap na lang din namin.
Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some local governments in Metro Manila will implement tighter community quarantine measures in some parts of their localities despite the National Capital Region's GCQ status. One of our senior correspondents, Ray Palayo, will explain why.
A 5-day lockdown tighter than the ECQ is being implemented in Sitio 6, Barangay Catmon in Malabon City, which started today. Now, even frontliners are not allowed outdoors except for emergency reason. Barangay Captain Brian Manapat said COVID-19 spreads fast in their barangay. Half of Catmon's 22 confirmed positive cases were recorded in Sitio 6.
Na nakakabahala dito, yung mga PUI at PUMs nila napakarami na. Kaya talagang for lockdown na, request ko na po.
Contact tracing and disinfection will take place during the lockdown period. Malabon data shows other barangays have more COVID cases than Catmon. But Mayor Antolin Oreta says that the active rate in Catmon is still higher than in other barangays.
Kung ko-compare natin yung population sa mga na-infect, hindi mas grabe sa ibang barangay na mas maliliit, na mas konting population, na mas madaming nagkakaroon ng virus.
Meanwhile, Navotas City extends the lockdown on H. Monroy Street, Barangay Navotas West until June 20. Mayor Toby Chanco said 49 out of 96 individuals who underwent rapid tests are positive for COVID-19. They will now undergo PCR test to confirm the result. In Taguig City, Purok 5 and 6 are both under the enhanced community quarantine until July 1 due to the increasing number of COVID-19 cases. The local government unit will do an active case finding and residents are encouraged to report any COVID-19 symptoms they experience. And in Manila City, Barangay 60, 163, and 844 will be subjected to a 48-hour lockdown from June 19 to June 20. During the lockdown period, authorities will conduct targeted testing and disease surveillance to fight the spread of COVID-19. There are 10 confirmed COVID cases in Barangay 60, 20 in Barangay 163, and 2 in Barangay 844. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some cities in Metro Manila have shortened their curfew hours. This will allow much longer and active business operations. Dante Amento tells us why.
Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso has signed Ordinance 8647 or the imposition of curfew hours from 10 p.m. until 5 the next morning. From 9-hour curfew, Manila City will observe only 7 hours of remaining indoors.
Kalinsabay sa ginawa ng national government na pagbubukas ng 30% ng dine-in. Para naman na makabenta, karinderya ka man o food chain ka man, eto, alas 10 na po ang curfew.
The curfew order in Manila will be more relaxed if the situation in the city improves. But Mayor Moreno stresses the curfew for minors will still exist even if the state of national emergency gets lifted. Quezon City has also begun implementing the same curfew adjustment. Work-related trips, emergency cases, and activities of frontliners are not included in the curfew. Elsewhere, Muntinlupa City imposes curfew through City Ordinance 2020-102 from 10 p.m. until 4 o'clock the next morning.
Nagbukas na ho tayo ng 30% ng dine-in natin para kahit paano kumain yung mga tao at pumasok yung negosyo, kahit paano may mga trabahong papasok.
Violators shall face a fine of 500 pesos up to 1,000 pesos or cancellation of benefits from the LGU such as relief assistance. The relaxing of curfew aims to allow for much longer business operations, especially of businesses that close during the ECQ and MECQ periods. Dantiamento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Police Regional Office 7 deploys 400 personnel in Cebu City. Not only will they implement the minimum health standards,
recoveries and 41 deaths. Because of this, Police Regional Office 7 deploys additional 400 personnel from the Reactionary Standby Support Force or RSSF and Crisis Response Battalion or CRB. These are aside from the 2,000 policemen assigned in Cebu City to implement minimum health protocols. Pro 7 Director, Police Brigadier General Albert Ferro says they will focus on crowded places including depressed areas.
Ang problema natin is how to control the depressed area kasi dikit-dikit yun and you know naman yung squatter area, yung mga informal settlers natin. Minsan mahirap sumunod.
Ferro says the police will also assist in contact tracing and guarding areas with positive cases. There are 27 policemen in Cebu City who have tested positive for COVID-19. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Jago William, we are on board the UNTV radio mobile booth and we are here in North EDSA in Quezon City. Let's take a look at the situation on the road. Jago William, so far we have a moderate traffic situation along the southbound lane of EDSA from North Avenue going to Quezon Avenue to Cubao. There is also light to moderate traffic on the other side of the road for vehicles traversing the northbound lane going to Caloocan. And for our weather update. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is affecting Mindanao, while the easterlies are affecting southern Luzon and Visayas. Pag-asa says eastern Visayas, Caraga, and Davao region will experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms due to the ITCZ, with possible flash floods or landslides due to scattered moderate to, at times, heavy rains. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms caused by the easterlies or localized thunderstorms, with possible flash floods or landslides during severe thunderstorms. No tropical cyclone is expected.
Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is in good health condition. The palace made the statement after the president's more than 2-week stay in Davao City. He returned to Metro Manila last Sunday, according to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. The public has nothing to worry about on the health of the chief executive.
Malakas na malakas po ang presidente. Nagyayabang pa nga siya na pagkatapos niyang magstay sa Davao after 67 days sa Manila, nawala ang kanyang tiyan. So, masigla po ang presidente. Wala pong dahilan para tayo magkaroon ng concern sa kanyang kalusugan.
Malacanang condoles with the family of business tycoon, also known in his business career as ECJ. The palace acknowledges the contribution of Cojuangco in Philippine economy as chairman of the board and chief executive officer of San Miguel Corporation, or SMC. The palace says Cojuangco's SMC has been a reliable partner of the government in mitigating the impact of COVID-19 by providing support and assistance to frontliners and the vulnerable sector. Cojuangco founded the political party National People's Coalition in 1992. Malacanang hits back at the United States of America's reaction, saying it's interfering with the country's affairs relative to the court's decision on Rappler's Maria Ressa. Our Malacanang correspondent Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the United States of America's State Department's recent remarks on Maria Ressa's issue is bad timing. In its statement, the Department of State says the U.S. is concerned by the trial court's verdict against journalist Maria Ressa and researcher-writer Reynaldo Santos on the cyber libel charges. It also calls for resolution of the case that reinforces the U.S. and Philippines' commitment to freedom of expression, including for members of the press. However, this is not acceptable for Malacanang. According to Secretary Roque, these statements will not help the bilateral relations of the U.S. and the Philippines, especially now that the Duterte administration has just suspended its plan to terminate the Visiting Forces Agreement. President Duterte will also regard this statement as interference. The chief executive believes in the integrity of the judicial branch of the government, respects its independence and competence of the judges. The palace has said Ressa's camp failed to present counter-malicious evidence before the court. However, various journalists and human rights groups have criticized the court's decision, saying that the cyber libel conviction is suppression of press freedom in the country. Rosalie Cos, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening, Kath. And what have you got for us this evening?
Great. Yes, William, I am doing really great. And for the past 23 days, there hasn't been any local transmission of the coronavirus disease reported here in Thailand, but experts warn of possible rainy season outbreaks. I will also give updates on Beijing's findings on salmon, whether it is a host to the novel coronavirus, and why New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern calls the new COVID cases in her country an unacceptable failure of the system.
Okay, go ahead, Kath. Please tell us why.
As the wet season approaches Thailand, Dr. Kumnuan Ungchusak, an epidemiologist at the Department of Disease Control, warned that not only the COVID-19 but also rainy seasons diseases such as influenza, dengue fever, and hand, foot, and mouth disease could be a threat to Thai students when schools reopen this July. Since these diseases and COVID-19 can similarly spread through sneezing, coughing, and physical contact, the country's Education Ministry's current guidelines on COVID-19 prevention, which requires schools to do body temperature screening, clean their premises frequently, and keep physical distance among students, will help prevent the spread of other wet season diseases. It is estimated dengue fever will infect around 140,000 people in Thailand this year, while influenza is also expected to infect tens of thousands of people, Dr. Kumnuan said. Meanwhile, Warawit Kumpu na Ayutthaya, advisor to the Education Minister, said the ministry has ordered schools across the country to spray repellents and kill mosquitoes and their larvae to prevent dengue outbreaks. And just an update on the issue that salmon could be a carrier of the new coronavirus. An official with the Chinese Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that no evidence shows that salmon is a host of the COVID-19 virus. The Chinese CDC nonetheless cautions people against suspicious food.
If you think you are under the risk of exposure to the virus, or you had contact with suspected patients, or ate suspicious food, You should monitor your health condition and take nucleic acid testing as soon as possible.
Most of the latest reported cases were related to Shinfa D Market, a large wholesale market of fruits, vegetables, and meat in Beijing. In the market, novel coronavirus was detected on the chopping board used to handle imported salmon in the preliminary testing. As preventive measure, the Beijing municipal government will increase control over travelers entering or exiting the Chinese capital. Beijing on Tuesday upgraded its emergency response to COVID-19 from level 3 to level 2. Classes were suspended amid the resurgence of cases. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said today the Defence Force will now oversee the country's quarantine facilities and strengthen border requirements. This move comes after a slip-up allowed 2 people with coronavirus to move around the country.
If we have a situation like this occur, despite protocols that were in place, that is not acceptable. I must be reassured that we are meeting the expectations of New Zealanders, and that comes first.
New Zealand on Tuesday lost its COVID-free status when 2 women who had been given permission to leave quarantine early on compassionate grounds after arriving from Britain tested positive for the coronavirus. Prime Minister Ardern said she was appointing the Assistant Chief of Defence to oversee all quarantine and to manage isolation facilities, including the processes of exiting people from these facilities. An audit would be done to make sure all processes in place are followed. And those are the reasons behind the news here in Thailand and in other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand.
Bayern Munich claimed their 8th consecutive Bundesliga title by beating Werder Bremen 1-0 away, thanks to Robert Lewandowski's first-half strike to open up an unassailable lead at the top of the table on Tuesday. It was Bayern's 30th German league crown overall. They could also add the German Cup, having booked a spot in the July 4 final where they face Bayer Leverkusen, and have also won their Champions League round of 16 first leg 3-0 at Chelsea. Coach Hansi Flick said it is a sensational kind of football they have played in the past few months. Hong Kong Disneyland today geared up for its grand reopening after more than 4 months of temporary closure due to the new coronavirus pandemic. The park is set to officially reopen tomorrow, and according to park staff, will focus on the local Hong Kong market as the territory's borders still remain shut to visitors. A wide range of preventive measures are being implemented for Thursday's reopening, including body temperature screenings and social distancing in rides and queues. Park goers can still interact with their favorite Disney characters such as Mickey and Minnie Mouse, but at a distance and in only a select number of locations. Photo opportunities, however, will still remain off limits. The park will also be operating at reduced capacity, and customers are required to book tickets online in advance and submit a health declaration. And those are the reasons behind the news, June 17, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Have a great evening, everyone.